Hello fellow space engineers. It's been almost a week, if I'm not mistaken, since I posted another video, but I was away for a reason. So, mainly, I was working in this cruiser, the Ares class cruiser, but I was working in something else, being given the privilege, and to much part of my enjoyment, to work with the upcoming Drone Conquest mod as a content designer, which means I get to create all these cool looking drones with loads of features. So the cruiser is not what I'm going to show you in this video. I'm going to talk about the mod, but I'm going to begin with a few concepts. So you have seen in the workshop many designs of carriers, and for that matter also drone carriers and drone cruisers. And the main issue that me and my friends, the group that I play with, have with the carrier concept is that it's really hard to find people to play with. Well, you can say that in multiplayer you can just join a server, but well, sometimes you want to have things more in your control. Sometimes your circle of friends is not that large, to have a carrier with 10, 20 spaceships in it, starfighters for that matter. So you use drones, and you can control a few of them from your cruiser or your carrier. Yeah, that's fine. But what happens if you're alone? What happens if you're like many or other YouTubers out there who play space engineers, who do, let's say, those survival playthroughs, and they just basically surviving alone as if they were marooned in a space? Or if you have a small group of people, like 4 people, yeah, they will each take a different task, but still, when it comes to defense, you're pretty much outnumbered. So, well, you may ask yourself, like, against which threats? There are a few mods out there that populate the world, um, a little bit more than just flying merchant vessels that do nothing besides waiting for to be attacked. Um, there's the endless factions one, and especially the invaders mod, which I have been using for quite a while. Is actually the, let's say, the only source of entertainment that I have in my survival playthroughs, and it has proven to be quite difficult play with the invaders mod, especially if you install the larger vessels. If you're in a single vessel, like I am in the destroyer, and then a group of 3 destroyers jump you, or if it comes to wars, one of the large invader cruisers jumps in, you're pretty much gonna have to spend the entire play session trying to repair the damage caused by those larger ships. So I'm gonna tell you about the solution. Here is the Ares cruiser. Like I mentioned before, it doubles as a light carrier and as a drone cruiser too. As you can see down here, this is the underbelly with the hangar, the flight control module down there. Now let's depressurize the hangar and open to reveal its contents. And there's nothing new here. You already seen the bulkhead fighters, and this is what I'm trying to say. It can carry 4 fighters, but you need 4 friends for that matter. It can also carry, I think it is, let's see how many drones, 12 drones is it? There's 3, yeah, 12 drones, but you're not gonna have 12 people at your disposal all the time, unless you have like a really very organized faction. Anyway, so I'm trying to tend here to solitary players. So what's the solution to that? Now let's start talking about the Drone Conquest mod. The Drone Conquest mod gives you the ability to launch and maintain your own fleet of drones, and also adds enemy fleets of drones controlled by a single mothership, or several fleets of drones depending on the size of the world that you're playing in, thus adding a threat. Basically, it's going to make it more difficult than just having installed the invaders mod. If you had both mods installed like I have right now, you'll see what's going to happen. It's going to make things really interesting. Okay, wait a second and I will show you the demonstration. Okay, here we are. So I know it's a bit too dark. Should have changed the skybox, but anyway, You see the drones, I pasted 6 of them, which is the maximum carrying capacity for the Calypso class destroyer. I know this cruiser can carry twice as much, but I'm gonna do the test with only 6 of them. And as you can see here, this is what the mod does for the basic pattern. They have a guarding pattern, and you see some of them are avoiding, others are guarding. They constantly check for collisions. They don't want to collide, especially with this large cruiser that I have right here. For example, the drone basically avoids a target regarding its mass, so it's getting kind of like a bee swarm right here because my cruiser is fairly massive, and they also have to avoid each other. But they are making this nice orbit pattern, around the cruiser. Now they have different ranges of engagement. A maximum range of 5,000 meters, which is 5 kilometers, and an engagement range of 2,000, or in which they go actively chasing enemy ships that come into that range. Now, a great deal of care has been placed by the author of the mod into making sure that these don't collide against your ship. And I may be making things more difficult right here because, as you can see, they actively try to avoid that massive cruiser. Although it's not a large cruiser though, but it's, in space engineers you cannot make super large ships without killing your computer. Anyway, so let's make a combat test now that we have our drone escort. Okay, I placed an invader enemy destroyer, and I just noticed that for some reason the invader mod is not working, but I don't know if it's on my end or maybe the mod broke because of the recent update. And here the drones are attacking the destroyer. They're trying to remain at an 800-meter range. Let's see how many drones it takes to disarm this operational destroyer. At this point in the mod, they don't strafe. That's a plan for the future. So that's why you may see them kind of like scan on fodder. But rest assured, that's on the way. Now, to increase their survivability, we have added decoys in some prongs, so the drones don't get as blasted as fast. And as you can see, there's damage reports, so you can basically recover the damaged drones, like those two. All the others were destroyed, so that's it's taking more than 6 drones to take out the destroyer. Let's see here. Let's see how many more. Let's paste 4. I should have pasted them there a little bit further away. Okay. Now you get different results. Especially, the idea is to have one of the drones fly using decoys to lure the enemy turrets. Okay, there you have it. The destroyer is being fully disarmed, and it took, how many drones we have survived? Okay, the other 4. So the destroyer took 6 drones, which is the totality. Whoa. I'm sorry about the sound. My character is already like inside the cruiser, so that's why you don't get any sound. If I was out here, the destroyer would be attacking me and it wouldn't be a fair test. So they fully disarmed the destroyer and took out the bridge. 10 drones did that. And like I said, when the whole strafing maneuver is added, it may require even less than that. Or another alternative that we have been tossing around is to have a decoy drone, which would be like an ECM, electronic countermeasures drone that is gonna just like jam the turrets of the enemy ship, and not actually jamming it, but just flying around at full speed with lots of decoys protruding outside of its body, with a heavy armor body. So it basically acts as a damage sponge, and it would do an orbit around the enemy ship while the other drones attack it, like you see here. Okay. Apparently the drones are detonating the explosives that are contained in those small cargo containers. And you see how, okay, yeah, you see a flying, sorry. Yeah, there's flying ordnance right there. Sometimes with the Gatling guns they detonate those. That's when you see a larger explosion. But okay, the attack finished. They took out the enemy destroyer and they are returning to orbit the ship that the player is currently flying. Now they work really great as wingmen when you fly a fighter and you use them as wingmen. And for that matter, at this point in the mode, you could basically use your fighter as a decoy, as the ECM, craft, and fly aggressively around the target and have the drones take it out. I think that's what I'm gonna do in my survival playthrough and show you the results. Okay, let's stop it right here and let's do the test with the larger drones. Okay, I have pasted the enemy destroyer for the second test, and we're trying it against our heavy drone. I mean the heaviest drone that we have, which is the Tusker, and that happens to be its equivalent in weaponry. Okay, it's attacking the cruiser. Now let's see what our defense drone can do to prevent that. Okay, here you see the rocket barrage and how the destroyer is trying to shoot at the decoys that are installed in our drone. Now this design is present in all the drones. Okay, just managed to take out one of the decoys. So that design is present in all of our drones. It's to, like I said before, to maximize the survivability. And it gives you some leeway, especially right now because the drones don't have an attack pattern. They basically just aim at the enemy up to this point. And as you can see, the destroyer is taking the full barrage of enemy rockets, of friendly drone rockets. And the destroyer is about to be disarmed. It only has one turret, the missile turret, remaining. It's doing a second pass on our cruiser. Now, I have to remind you that this is a test, and if this was like a real scenario, our cruiser would be also participating in the battle. Let's see if the bridge of the enemy destroyer is intact. Apparently, yeah, it is. Okay. The sound is bugging out. And our drone is trying to pursue the destroyer as it makes its second pass on our cruiser. Okay, now you can see here it went too far and the drone has to return to ship. but apparently, yeah, still fighting with its turrets. Let's see if it manages to fully disarm the destroyer. Oh yeah, it did. Okay, let's evaluate the damage. So the destroyer is fully disarmed, hull breach, the bottom section and the reactor compartment aft. Its main engines are almost gone. It still has maneuver and thrust. Let's say like 90% of maneuver and thrust. It's still pretty agile, but not able to retaliate. Let's check out our drone, which, like I mentioned before, it's the equivalent of the destroyer in weaponry. Okay, it still has one functioning Gatling turret. It lost one Gatling turret, and still has the two missile turrets active. Okay, now it's currently being engaged in between, trying to return to ship or fight, because the enemy is within that range, the maximum like combat range for the drone. And as you can see, as the destroyer gets closer to our character, which is currently in the cruiser, the drone begins attacking. I have no idea why it's still shooting though. Oh, okay. There it is. Oh, look at the barrage. Let's see the effects. Apparently it's at maximum range because these rockets are exploding just like a few meters away from the target. And yeah. Okay, it's getting hits. Maybe not. Maybe if it manages to catch the destroyer when it's like turning around and slowing down for its for another pass. Okay, just broke it in half apparently. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, look at that. We can now say that the drone safely took down the destroyer. Okay, now this small monster right here is the Bullcat, the strike version. Now, I'm not going to go into any deeper details about this craft because Greg Berko already did a wonderful analysis of it, for which I am really thankful. So I'm just going to say that this is the strike version of the one he showcased. The only difference being is the wings. It has detachable wings, and basically you can configure them as mission packages. So the core of the craft is the same, only this one has these quad Gatling guns and rocket launchers to increase the firepower against larger vessels or installations. So for this test, I'm going to use this one as the decoy fighter. As you can see, I fitted the strike wings with decoy wingtips or decoy tails, which is a design characteristic that Greg uses very successfully, I must add, in even larger ship designs. So the idea is to give the enemy turrets a target that is offset away from the center, from all of the important things in your fighter or in your frigate or larger ship. and basically what it does is increases the time that you have to attack and destroy those turrets because I'm sorry, before those turrets destroy you. So okay, let's use the drones as wingmen while we attack a larger ship. Okay, we have the same enemy destroyer. We tried it first. Looks like they managed to disarm the missile turret. Okay. That was an unlucky shot. Nice. Okay, turn around. Turn around. There. It's a really cool looking shot right there. Let's try to get rid of the other turret. It's really hard to lead the target without any kind of like graphic aid. At least the drones are shooting at it. Jeez. Nice. Great. Okay, it's fully disarmed now. Whoa! Managed to take out all of my wings. Well, my 2 wings. Okay, let's see what else can we do about it. Like, how do we finish this thing off? Yeah. I think you have to go for the cockpit. Well, with my crippled fighter, I don't think I can actually outmaneuver this thing. Oh. Wow, the Vulca is really banged up. At least my drones are attacking. It's gonna damage those main engines. Okay. Yeah. One is out, smores are out. Come on, the other one. Okay, the maneuver and thrust. I don't wanna crash into you. Where's that cockpit? Come on. There. Yeah, the drones are finishing it off. Just don't shoot at me. Whatever they are. Just don't want to turn the HUD on because of all the clutter. Okay, that one is like shooting way off. Okay, I'm gonna turn off dampeners. Try to match the whole speed of the thing. Okay, let's get it too close. Oh, friendly fire. So the destroyer stopped maneuvering, but it's moving out of inertia. The drones, where are they? Okay. Just don't collide with this thing. Okay, I can see the tracers. One and two. Whew. Well, just by looking at the fighter, I consider this a win. Having only one main engine, the only like essential maneuver and thrust, some of the power from the reactors, and actually the entire nose section withstood. Yep. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the test. Now you can see that it is possible to attack a larger ship with only a small squadron of fighters. And, well, I guess this is actually a really good design after all, if I say so myself. Okay, that's been the showcase for the Drone Conquest mod. It will be released eventually in the Steam Workshop after more details are polished. Take care.